Hello everyone, this is Sharmia. In this video, we are going to study about what is meant by cell injury. First, introduction. How cell injury causes. The human body is made up of cells, which are the basic structural and functional units of life. Cells will combine and form tissues, and tissues will form an organ, and the organ work together as an organic system. Mostly, cell injury refers to the damage or stress experienced by a cell due to alteration in its internal or external environment. Then, what are the cellular response to stress vary and depends upon host factors like type of cell or tissue involved, factors pretending to injurious agents, extent and type of cell injury. Like host factors means the type of cell. Some cells like skeleton muscles can survive for long time without an oxygen, but cardiac cells cannot survive without an oxygen for a small minutes. So that the cell injury will depend upon the type of cell and the extent, and it also depend upon the intensity of the stress and type of the cell injury, whether this is reversible or irreversible. Introduction. In this video, we are going to see about what is meant by etiology. What are the major causes of cell injury? First one is genetic causes. Mostly genetic causes results from abnormalities in the genes or chromosomes that are inherited from parents or occur due to mutations. These abnormalities can lead to the production of defective proteins, enzyme deficiencies, or structural defects, result in cell injury and disease. Examples of genetic causes includes Down syndrome. In this extra chromosomes, our body contains 46 chromosomes, 22 pairs of normal chromosomes and one pair of sex chromosomes. But in Down syndrome condition, there will be one extra chromosome. Total chromosomes will be 47. Sickle cell anemia caused by the mutation in the hemoglobin gene lead to abnormal RBCs. Without RBCs, due to abnormal RBCs, the blood will not carry the enough oxygen for ATP production, so that cell injury will happen. Hemophilia means a decreased blood clotting level. So that in small hurt also the bleeding will not stop, so that cell injury, cell loss can happen. Thalassemia means an reduced production of hemoglobin. Hemoglobin will is the major compound which carries the oxygen throughout the organs. But in thalassemia condition, hemoglobin production will be less, so that oxygen level carrying capacity of the RBC also reduced, so cell get injured. Next one, acquired causes. Acquired causes includes hypoxia and ischemia. Hypoxia means a reduced oxygen supply to the cells, and it's the most common form of cell injury. Since oxygen is essential for energy production, its deficiency will impair the cellular functions. The most common cause of hypoxia is ischemia. Due to reduced blood supply only, oxygen also not supplied to every organs. Hypoxia can also result due to anemia, carbon monoxide poisoning, heart diseases, lung diseases, or increased oxygen demand by tissue. Next one is physical agents. Physical agents are directly cause the cells and tissue damage. This includes thermal injury caused by excessive heat or cold. Mechanical trauma such as road traffic accidents and injuries. Radiations include ultraviolet rays and ionizing radiations, electrical injury due to electrical shock, sudden changes in atmospheric pressure. This this all will mainly depend upon the intensity and duration of the exposure. Next one is chemical agents and drugs. Various chemicals also cause cell injury by interfering with the normal cellular metabolism side. Just for example, cyanide, arsenic, mercury, acid alkalis, environmental pollutants, pesticides, alcohol, narcotics, and certain therapeutic medications will cause this kinds of cell injury. The harmful effect depend upon the dose and duration of the exposure. Next one is microbial agents. Microorganisms also play an important role in cell injury and disease. This include bacteria, virus, fungi, protozoa, and parasites. They also damage the cells and cause a direct invasion or producing toxins that will interfere with the normal cellular functions. Next one is immunological agents. Immune system also normally protects the major role of the immune system is protecting the body from infections and harmful substances, but in some conditions there will be abnormal immune reactions can cause tissue injury. Example, hypersensitivity reactions, anaphylactic reactions, autoimmune diseases. In these conditions our own immune system will attack against our body tissues. Next one is nutritional imbalances. Both nutritional deficiency and excess can also result in cell injury. Nutritional deficiency means starvation, protein, calorie malnutrition, vitamin deficiency. This will cause cell injury. Nutritional excess can lead to obesity, atherosclerosis, hypertension, heart diseases. This also can lead to some kinds of cell injury. This so balanced diet has to be maintained for normal cellular function. Next one is psychogenic disease. Psychogenic factors such as like stress, anxiety, depression, emotional strains can contribute to the disease. These conditions will lead to unhealthy habits such as smoking, alcoholism, drug abuse, which may further damage the tissues and organs. Iatrogenic causes means research from the medical treatment. Examples, adverse drug reactions, surgical complications, radiations, medication error. This will lead to this. Although treatment is mainly help the patients, but also some complications may occasionally occur. Idiopathic diseases means those for this kinds of cell injury is unknown. Despite advances in medicines, the cause of some diseases also remains unclear. Examples include hypertension, certain types of cancer. The main reason for this cannot be identified. Aging. In aging is a natural process associated with the gradual decline in the cellular function. As cells age, their ability to repair and regenerate also decreases. This will make the tissues more susceptible to injury and contributes to the development of the various age-related diseases. Now, let's see about cellular adaptation. Cellular adaptation in this increased functions will demand the cell adapt to the changes expressed morphologically. Like for example, in a pregnancy, uterus will enlarge, change its structure and functions. After baby born, it will go back into the normal. This is the normal example for the cellular adaptations. Hypertrophy is in cellular adaptation. There will be, it includes hypertrophy. Hypertrophy there will be increased size of cells. For example, is pregnancy condition. There will be increased size of the cells, and Atrophy. Atrophy means shrinkage in the size of the cells is known as atrophy. Hypoplasia means small size of the cells. Aplasia means extreme failure of the development of the tissue. Hyperplasia means increase in the number of the cells will be increased. Metaplasia, there will be a reversible change in which one adult cell will be replaced by the another adult cell. Next one is intracellular accumulation. In this, metabolic wastes are the accumulate in some organs like normal cells. In normal cells, there will be water, lipid, proteins will accumulate there, so that cell swelling also happen. Yes, in cell injury, there will be two types of cell injury. One is reversible cell injury, and the second one is irreversible cell injury. Reversible cell injury, when it occurs, means when the stress is mild and moderate, the injured cells will recover and turn back to the normal. But in irreversible cell injury, there will be a persistent and severe form of the cell injury, so that it may lead to death of the cell, like necrosis or apoptosis. Reversible change, there will be a fatty change, abnormal accumulation of the triglycerides with the parenchyma cells. Mostly this happens in the liver, heart, muscles and kidney. Causes of the fatty changes, toxins. Due to toxin, diabetic mellitus, there will be more metabolic wastes will accumulate in the liver. Protein malnutrition, obesity, anorexia, kwashiorkor in children. Cellular swelling means organs mostly include our kidney, liver. The major causes of the cellular swelling is ischemia, reduced blood supply, hypoxia, reduced oxygen supply, and poison. In these conditions, mostly cell swelling will happen in the kidney, liver. Mechanism cells are incapable of to maintain their ionic and fluid hemostasis due to reduced blood supply. Result, what will happen means the organ will swell and bulge. In microscopy we can identify that the organ is swelled due to the decreased oxygen and blood supply. Classification of morphological forms of cell injury. In this, there is an reversible cell injury. There will be hydrogenic degeneration. Vacuoles will appear in the cytoplasm. In extreme form, cells will get distended with fluid and rupture, resulting in the death of the cells. Microvascularization of the organ is compromised by swollen cells like hepatic sinusoids, capillaries of rhinocarditis, which result in the pallor of the organ. An irreversible cell injury with the necrosis, death of the cell or group of cells in the midst of the living tissue. It includes coagulation necrosis, liquefactive necrosis, caseous necrosis, fat necrosis, fibrinoid necrosis, ganglion necrosis. The adaptosis means a programmed cell death will happen. Mostly in pathogenesis of cell injury, factors determining will be type, duration and severity of the injurious agent. The extent of the cell injury will depend upon the nature, intensity, and duration of the stimulation. Mild injury or short duration ischemia will lead to reversible cell injury, and or in a severe injury or prolonged ischemia will result in irreversible cell injury and cause cell death. Example, a brief interruption of blood supply to the myocardium may cause reversible injury, whereas prolonged coronary artery occlusion will lead to myocardial infarction. Second one is type, status, and adaptability of the target cells. The susceptibility of the cells varies according to their niche, according to their structure and functions. Skeletal muscles can tolerate the hypoxia better than cardiac muscles. Cardiac muscles will undergo irreversible injury after approximately 20 to 30 minutes of severe ischemia. Nutritional status and adaptive capacity of the cells can also influence the outcome. And next, third one is underlying intracellular membranes. This major biochemical abnormalities are involved in most forms of the cell injury. First one is mitochondrial damage will lead to ATP depletion. Damage to the cell membranes can alter the permeability and their transport. Generation of toxic free radicals. Next, the last one is morphological consequences. Morphological consequences, there will be biochemical disturbances which leads to structural changes. Ultrastructural changes are visible first under the electron microscope. Light microscope changes will appear later. These are the 4 types. And then pathogenesis of ischemic and hypoxic cell injury. Ischemia means we know. Ischemia means reduced blood supply. But hypoxia means reduced oxygen supply in tissues. Ischemia will be the most severe than hypoxia, because in this only both oxygen and nutrient supply are also reduced, and it also prevent removal of the metabolic waste products. In this, we know that there are 2 kinds of cell injury: reversible, irreversible. In reversible, there will be a decreased generation of cellular ATP. Like ATP is essential for membrane transport, protein synthesis, lipid synthesis, maintenance of the cellular integrity. ATP is produced by aerobic respiration in mitochondria, anaerobic glycolysis using glucose or glycogen. Effect of the ischemia and hypoxia reduce oxygen supply and decrease aerobic respiration. ATP production falls rapidly. In ischemia, glucose supply is also reduced, making injury more severe. Metabolic waste products accumulate. Certain cells depend mainly on aerobic metabolism and are highly susceptible to injury. Cardiac muscle cells, neurons, nuclear tubular epithelial cells. Second one is intracellular lactic acidosis and nuclear changes. When oxygen becomes insufficient, cells will shift from aerobic respiration to anaerobic glycolysis. Glycogen stores are depleted. Lactic acid accumulates. Intracellular pH decreases. Consequences will be acidification of the cytoplasm, clumping of nuclear chromatin, impaired cellular functions. Then damage to the plasma membrane pump. ATP depletion will impair membrane phospholipid synthesis and membrane transport systems. There will be failure of the sodium-potassium pump. Normally, sodium is actively pumped out and potassium is transported into the cell. When ATP decreases, sodium accumulates inside the cell, potassium diffuses out, water enters the cell osmotically, which will result in cell swelling, which is the hallmark of the reversible cell injury. Then failure of the calcium pump. Membrane damage causes calcium to accumulate inside the cell, mostly inside the mitochondria. Consequences: mitochondrial swelling. Next one is membrane alteration. Ultrastructural changes include loss of microvilli, formation of the membrane belts, loss of intramembranous particles, Last one, reduced protein synthesis. Continuous hypoxia causes swelling of the endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus, which will reduce the cause gross changes. The organ become pale, swollen, and heavier than the normal. Outcomes of reversible injury: if blood flow and oxygen supply are restored, ATP production returns to normal, iron pumps recover, cellular swelling disappears, protein synthesis resumes, cell structure and functions are restored. And then irreversible cell injury. When ischemia or hypoxia continues for a long time, the cell reaches a point of no return. At this stage, the damage cannot be reversed even if oxygen or blood supply is restored. Key features of reversible cell injury includes two changes. Distinguish irreversible injury from reversible injury. Mitochondria cannot recover from their function even after oxygen or return. Cell membrane is severely damaged, especially the plasma membrane. Other changes include severe ATP depletion, protein loss, increased acidity, leakage of the lysosomal enzymes into the cytoplasm. Major events in irreversible cell injury is calcium influx, mitochondrial damage, increased influx of the calcium into the cell. Calcium accumulates in the mitochondria, consequences cause mitochondrial swelling, and it will not return like reversible cell injury. Activation of phospholipases. Excess intracellular calcium activates phospholipase enzymes. These enzymes will break down membrane phospholipids, destroy the lipid bilayer of the cell membrane. At the same time, ATP also decreases. New membrane phospholipases cannot be synthesized. Severe membrane damage and leakage of the cellular contents. Activation of proteases. Cytoskeletal damage. Proteases digest the cell cytoskeleton, microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate filaments. The cell membrane loses support and become fragile. Activation of endonucleases, nuclear membrane. Endonucleases also damage the DNA and nuclear protein. Nuclear changes, pyknosis nuclear. In this nuclear strings, chromatin condenses, dark blue staining will cause. Carrier cases, nuclear fragments into small pieces. Karyolysis, nucleus completely dissolved. Early sequence to remember. Lysosomal enzymes release. Lysosomal membranes rupture and release hydrolytic enzymes, example DNase, RNase, protease, lipase, phosphatases, glycosidases. This enzyme digest the entire cell will cause cell death. Cell death means necrosis, uncontrolled cell death. Outcomes of the ischemia: short ischemia, there will be reversible injury, blood flow returns quickly and cell recover completely. Moderate ischemia, there will be reperfusion, blood flow returns after prolonged ischemia. Instead of helping, reperfusion also worsen the damage. This is called the ischemia reperfusion injury. Very long ischemia, it is irreversible injury. Damage become permanent before blood flow returns. Even reperfusion cannot also save the cell. Cell automatically die. Ischemia reperfusion injury. When blood supply is restored to an injured tissue, three major mechanisms worsen the damage. Calcium overload. Reperfused blood brings more calcium. The injured cell cannot regulate calcium because ATP is low. Result for the membrane damage. Generation of the reactive oxygen species. During reperfusion, oxygen generation generates toxic free radicals. Mean toxic free radical is superoxide radical, and inflammatory responses. Reperfusion attracts the inflammatory cells. These cells include release the more free radicals, proteolytic enzymes, results in additional tissue injury. Pathogenesis of chemical injury. Chemical agents cause cell injury by two main mechanisms. First is direct cytotoxic effect. Some chemicals damage cells directly without metabolic Activation they combine with cellular components and cause immediate toxicity. Damage is usually more severe in tissues involved in absorption, metabolism, or excretion of the chemical. Examples: mercury chloride damage the alimentary canal and kidneys site of excretion. Cyanide inhibits the mitochondrial cytochrome oxidase, blocking oxidative phosphorylation and reproduction. Heavy metals also cause some defects. Conversion to reactive toxic metabolism. Some chemicals are not toxic initially but become harmful after metabolic activation, mainly in the liver. These metabolites interact with cellular components and cause injury. Some carbon tetrahydride, acetaminophen, bromo benzene mechanisms of first mechanism of carbon tetrachloride toxicity. It is metabolized by the liver cytochrome Q450 and it is converted into the free radical. This free radical initiate lipid peroxidation, uh, severe liver damage and necrosis occur. Then last one is pathogenesis of physical injury. Physical injury includes radiation injury. Radiation, ionizing radiation will cause the permanent cell damage, formation of the hydroxyl radicals. Uh, this mechanism includes ionizing radiation interacts with the water molecule. Hydroxyl radicals are generated, and these radicals will damage the cell membrane and interact with the damaged DNA. Effects on different cell types. Two types of cells: a proliferating cell and the one is non-proliferating cell. Proliferating cells DNA replication inhibited cell undergo apoptosis, means programmed cell death. In non-proliferating cell, DNA synthesis is inhibited, membrane damage predominance and cell divide necrosis. Example: neurons. Okay, in this video what all we have seen is first we have what is meant by cell injury and what are the causes of the cell injury, acquired and genetic causes. In acquired there are ischemia, hypoxia, physical agents, chemical agents, microbial agents, immunological agents, nutritional imbalance, psychogenic, iatrogenic, idiopathic, then aging, cellular adaptations also we have seen. Then we have seen the uh, pathogenesis of the uh, cell ischemia and hypoxia. Next, pathogenesis of this one, physical cell injury and pathogenesis of chemical cell injury, uh, and um, there are two types of cell injury. We know that one is reversible and another one is irreversible. Reversible means it takes a short period of time and it can be reversed. And reversible, there will be continuous blockage and continuous cell injury. There will be two kinds of two parts of cell injury. One is apoptosis and one is necrosis. Apoptosis means programmed cell death. Necrosis means uncontrolled cell death. Okay, that's all we have seen in this video. Thank you.